One of the biggest barriers to entry with sleep training is crying. Am I right? So when we talk about sleep training, it can be super polarizing, and I always want to make sure that I'm creating a really non-judgmental and supportive space for all parents and all of their various philosophies surrounding sleep. A big reason why parents choose not to sleep train or to do any type of independent sleep learning is because their child cries, or they know their child will cry, or they can't handle the crying. While I coach parents one-on-one through implementing sleep training using methods that do decrease crying, today I want to talk to you about ways outside of the sleep training method that we can reduce your child's crying so that you can have a more peaceful bedtime. Hi, my name is Sarah Bazio, and as the lead certified pediatric sleep expert at Yours and Baby Sleep, I am so happy that you found your way to me. I have helped 500 families in my one-on-one sleep training programs and thousands of families within my group programs and other resources, and I can't wait to help you learn more about ways to reduce crying at bedtime. It's important to keep in mind that bedtime is not an isolated period of the daytime. It has a domino effect that leads from morning into night. So everything that we do throughout our day is built up and culminates at the end of our day with bedtime. And this is the same for babies, for toddlers, for preschoolers, like for us, hello, as an adult. Don't you feel at the end of the day you are just shot? Why? Because you have been doing. And doing looks different for every single age, but we only have so much tolerance as a human being to continue to do before we just become unraveled. Our babies and our toddlers and our preschoolers have less of a window of tolerance, less self-regulation skills, and really depend on us for comfort and soothing at the end of the day. And this is why we normally see an increase in protest or crying or just generally like not desirable behavior. So when we're talking about how to prevent this, I actually am not going to talk about the bedtime routine. Surprisingly, I'm going to go all the way back to morning time and work our way through the day to teach you strategies that you can implement throughout your day to help prevent tears at night. The first part of your day I want to focus on is any of your wake-up times. So this obviously looks different depending on the amount of naps your child is taking, but when they wake up in the morning, when they wake up from any of their naps, this is a time that if you are available and you are caring for them at those times of the day, I want you to make a special bond. I want you to take 5 minutes to really be there to make a connection with them. 5 minutes, that's it. When our children are transitioning out of activities or transitioning out of sleep, transitioning out of school or daycare, going from one big thing to the next, that's a really pivotal time in their small little development to connect with them and make them feel really full. Fill their cup in those little moments, and that connection and that bond is only going to help you at bedtime when they know that you are going to be separate from them at some point in the night. Let's focus a little bit more on that separation anxiety, right? So many times I have families who call me and say, you know, we have a plethora of sleep challenges going on, and I think the root of it could be their separation anxiety. This is very real. They are very right. We do have feelings of separation anxiety that are heightened at certain levels during our babies' and toddlers' development. So in order to combat that, those moments of connection just upon waking and just upon transitioning from other caregivers to you can be really helpful in managing the separation anxiety they feel at bedtime. When they know that they can trust that you are there and you're responding in quality connection time, it is going to fill their cup up in a way where they are not sad that you are going to leave at bedtime, that you will be okay, they will be okay, and they can sleep through the night. Another way that we can manage separation anxiety is practicing it. Practicing you leaving and coming back in very short spurts so they can really build that trust muscle between you. For a tiny baby, you know, about 4, 5, 6 months old, this might look something like hide and seek. You put a washcloth in front of them, you remove it, Because to them, if they can't see you, you're not there. They don't have the developmental capability to know that your legs are still sitting there. It doesn't register yet for them. For a little bit older babies, 8, 9, 10 months, I want you to practice keeping them in one room, and I want you to walk into another room. But while you walk into the other room, I want you to still talk to them so they can now start to understand, oh, I don't see my parents in front of me, but I hear them. So that must mean that they're still here and available. They're just not with me physically right now, and I'm okay. This type of practice can just take minutes. It doesn't have to be a long thing that we do for hours throughout the day. The more we do it, the more frequently and short little stints throughout our day, the more that their separation anxiety muscle will be strengthened, and they'll feel more confident in being put on their own for little chunks of time. A big part of separation anxiety in toddlers and preschoolers is them not understanding what the routine is or what comes next. So they know at some point mom and dad are going to leave, or they know at some point they're going to be dropped off at school. They don't have a concept of time, and they don't understand at what point they're coming back. It can be really helpful to have visual schedules for them so that they can build trust in the process by looking at, we have school, and then you have lunch and nap, and then mommy and daddy come pick you up. Another type of a visual schedule you can have that I used with my own toddler when she was 2 is a daily schedule. So we had pictures every day of where she was going to be throughout the week. On Sunday, it had a picture of our house. Monday through Friday, it had a picture of her daycare. Saturday, a picture of our house. So we could anticipate the night before where she would be going in the morning, and it wasn't as anxiety-inducing because she knew what to expect. Right before bedtime, maybe honestly even before dinner time, right, if you're able to swing it, because oftentimes, like, dinner time is just the next thing, right? And dinner time rolls into bath, rolls into bedtime, rolls into, right? And that can induce some stress and anxiety in the whole family. I know it does for me. And my kids are a little bit older now, and it's always a point of stress for our family trying to get through all of those steps. So before we go into that stressful time, what I want you to do is carve out 10 minutes, maybe 15, where you're just connecting with your child one-on-one, doing something that they love. I want you to put the phone on a different floor of your house. I want it to be nowhere near you. I don't want access to any screens involved. And I want them to pick an interactive activity with you where you are focusing on them and only them. That could look like an art project. It could look like a board game, maybe reading board books. All of these things are going to help fill their cup, make them feel so bonded to you. And when we go into kind of more stressful times, feeling really happy, feeling really fulfilled, and feeling like we've been paid attention to, that is going to reduce any types of behaviors that could cause crying as we go into bedtime. If you would like more information about how to reduce crying during actual sleep training, then I really encourage you to look at my videos about the chair method and time checks. So these are videos about how to sleep train without using Cry It Out. Keeping in mind that all of these strategies I gave you from morning to nighttime are going to be essential in reducing the amount of crying that you see during sleep training. The last reason why your child might be crying at bedtime is because they're overtired. Most of the time it has to do with behavior. Some of the time it has to do with separation anxiety, but a lot of the time it's just because they're sleepy and they're done and they just want to go to bed. Like, don't you want to cry? I know I do sometimes. I just want to get in my bed and go to sleep. How can we prevent that overtired at bedtime? Nap schedules are really essential for that. So making sure that your child is taking an age-appropriate nap schedule, making sure that it's a biological schedule and not using wake windows once they're over 6 months old, and bringing bedtime earlier if your family's schedule allows for it, so that we can prevent them from being overtired at bedtime, which will absolutely reduce crying. What questions do you have about all of these strategies? Is it something that you would like to try? Head down to the comments and tell me all about it while you're on your way there. Make sure you like this video and absolutely subscribe and turn on notifications so you are the first to know about my latest sleep content when it's published. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.